Welcome to the farm.
Welcome to the farm. I'm Justin, and today we're taking a break from our outdoor projects to work on the shop a little bit. It's been a long time since we've done a shop project, and I'm really excited to do it. The project we have at hand is we have my grapple rock bucket that I've been building over the last couple years, and I'm really happy with how it's working grapple-wise. Unfortunately, as a rock bucket, it's got one big major flaw. And the flaw is I have no sides on my rock bucket. So when I pick up the rocks and I shake, everything falls off the ends. Now the reason I didn't originally put sides on here is because I had the intention of making this into a grapple. And without the sides on here, it works amazing as a grapple. But the project today is we're gonna make some removable sides for this thing so we can use it as a functioning rock bucket, take the sides off, and still use it as a functioning grapple. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is remove the grapple arms off of the bucket to make it easier to move around and work on. I did design this to come apart fairly easily. Hopefully that works. I haven't taken this apart since I fully assembled it, so let's go ahead and give it a shot. But I got some quick connects here that'll separate the two arms from one another. And then it should be just remove 3 bolts per arm, 3 pins, and the whole assembly should just lift right off. So I gotta say that came off fairly well. I was hoping for a little bit smoother, but I think most of that was just operator error. If I take this thing on and off a few more times, I think it's gonna get a lot easier. But let's go ahead and get this thing stood up on end and we can start figuring out how we're gonna make our sides. So I don't have a lot of steel on hand and I don't really want to spend money buying a piece of steel just to make 2 sides. So I think I'm gonna try to make do with what I have. And what I have is some leftover sides from a big electrical tub. And I think what I'm gonna try to do is just cut this down and try to make some sides out of that. We'll have to cut the flanges off of here and probably weld a piece on. But that's the plan. I don't know how I'm gonna execute it yet. I'm totally making this up as I go. I guess let's just see what happens. All right, well, I got the first piece cut. That little metal saw that I have, I think I'm gonna need to do an upgrade because it's not doing the job so well. Then that saw is old. It's one of the original Milwaukee M18 metal saws. It's only got the 5.5-inch blade on it. It's not very powerful. The thing's like 13 years, 14 years old. So it could do with the replace, but it's still cutting better than a grinder. But like I said, we got the first piece cut. I'm really happy with how it's fitting. We're gonna have to get another little piece in here just to cover this section. I'm hoping the piece we cut off will work. Looking at it, it might be too small. But yeah, I was thinking about cutting these angles off and making one nice smooth plate. But now I think I'm gonna leave it on because this is a pretty thin piece of steel. And I think having that extra lip there is gonna help give it some extra strength. So let's go ahead and see if we can figure out our next piece. So here's the piece that I cut off, and unfortunately, it's just not quite tall enough. It's about 2 inches too short here to cover the edge of the bucket. So I'm gonna have to cut another piece at this height and redo my angle. Not a big deal, shouldn't be too hard to do. All right, well, I'm happy with how that looks. We got our 2 pieces cut out. I think what I'm gonna do to join them together is just clean up this seam, weld the outside here, weld the inside there, and then I got a little bit of a gap right here. So I think I might take a little piece of this, cut that down to stick in there, weld that in, and just make it look really nice and clean. There we go. Once I get this all welded in, ground smooth, you'll never even know what's there on the outside. So I think the next step is take this all apart, get all the paint cleaned off, and start welding. So that's the first side of my bucket sides welded together. We're gonna go ahead and let this cool. I'm pretty sure with how hot I welded this and I didn't take breaks that we're gonna have some warpage, but I'm not too concerned about that. I think we'll go ahead and let this cool, then we'll grind everything up and see what it looks like. So while that piece is cooling, I'm gonna take care of one other issue I have with my rock bucket here. And it's not a big issue, but it's just gonna make putting that side on a lot easier. What happened is when I welded this end piece to the rest of the bucket and put these, what are now vertical slats in, I only heated one side. So as it cooled, it actually took my 1/4 inch flat stock and tweaked it down. So you can see that's where flat should be. You can see how much a rock we have in the strut, and the strut is straight. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a torch, we're gonna heat here, here, and then we're gonna take a piece of strut, clamp it here, and see if we can't pull that back up. So I got this all heated up the best I can. Really, I'm not using the right torch to do that. I should be using an oxy-acetylene torch, but I don't have one yet. It's something that's on my wish list, and it's way up high on my wish list because I have some other fabrication stuff that I want to do where the torches would be amazing. But for now, we're going to use what we got. I don't think it's going to really pull all the bend out, but hopefully it straightened out at least a little bit. We're gonna let this sit now. The other piece is cooled off, so let's head outside and do some grinding. So unfortunately that's gonna do it for this video. I was really hoping to get more done today, but I really wanted to let those pieces of strut sit in that bucket and let that thing fully cool before I removed them, hoping that would pull some of that bend out. I was planning on coming out later in the week and hopefully messing with it a little bit more, but unfortunately it just didn't happen. So that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you very soon in the next one where hopefully we'll have sides on this rock bucket. Bye.